Giving a child a laptop and internet access is usually done in developed countries with more advanced laptops, and in less developed nations with a cheaper version of the XO laptop in green, but which can run on solar power, which is vital in developing countries where electricity might not be readily available. This can be seen as the first step in enhancing learning and development in children. However, a machine can definitely never replace physical lessons in classrooms, which allow for face-to-face interaction between students and teachers. It can only complement it. So firstly, let's break down the question. Learning can be split into two areas: the academic aspect of gaining knowledge, understanding it, and applying it to solve real-life problems. Also, there is interpersonal learning how to build meaningful relationships with others. Development can likely be of the cognitive sort, which is pretty similar to academic learning, but it can also be psychological, in getting to know oneself better and developing as a healthy, balanced person, as well as social, learning to work effectively with others and having healthy relationships with them. The presentation will be split into 3 parts. Firstly, I will demonstrate how proper training on how to use a laptop and navigate the vast amount of content on the internet is important. Second, we will look at how laptops and the internet can only complement but never replace physical lessons in the classrooms. And lastly, we shall see the importance of having caregiver supervision while children are on their laptops. Only if these 3 criteria are fulfilled can laptops and internet connections improve learning and development in children. So let's begin by looking at how giving a laptop to each child in Peru failed to produce any improvements because teachers were not taught how to use it to constructive ends. Although the Peru government spent more than 200 million in supplying and maintaining over 800,000 laptops to schools throughout the country, a study by the Inter-American Development Bank on about 300 primary schools in local Peru 15 months after laptops were given to each child revealed no improvement in math or reading among the children, and no evidence of increased time spent on those subjects. Around the same time, the country's education ministry reported that Peruvians' test scores remained dismal. Merely 13% of 7-year-olds were at the required level in math, and only 30 in reading, though it had been some time since Peru started purchasing laptops from 1 laptop per child, or OLPC, a non-profit organization whose founders believe that giving laptops to poor children provides them access to the plethora of information on the internet, therefore giving them a potentially better education. The initiative likely backfired because OLPC did not train students or teachers in using the laptops, resulting in the failure to integrate them into classroom environments. Students were still copying down notes from the blackboard, for example. However, the OLPC has learned from its lesson, going on to provide training for teachers in Honduras in November last year, which focused on integrating OLPC's sugar activities, which are basically activities and lesson plans for teachers, as seen in the screen grab, into the country's existing curriculum, with an emphasis on Spanish and mathematics. Teachers were also instructed on the various teaching resources within the laptops. Though any real improvement in the students' learning and development is yet to be seen, this would likely be a first step towards that eventual goal, and is extremely crucial given the vast monetary investment. 54,000 laptops were bought for students in 545 schools across the country. As such, a laptop is merely a tool to learn. In order for children to apply learning to real life and achieve social development, physical classrooms are still needed. Massive open online courses like Coursera, Khan Academy, and edX, which are basically sites with university courses made freely available online, have been gaining popularity here in Singapore, as reported just last month in the Straits Times. Coursera, one such platform set up last April by Stanford University professors, has the most number of users in Singapore, more than 15,000. Locally, this was a 70% jump from just 9,000 users last August. However, New Media and Communication Professor Dr. Cho at the National University of Singapore states that such courses can only supplement the current systems, and universities will be here for a long time, as campuses are still an integral part of the undergraduate life. Indeed, physical lessons still have the merits of allowing students to immediately clarify doubts about the material taught and interact with their fellow peers. This enhances learning on the academic front as well as social development. Also, children will definitely require supervision from parents or caregivers when using such laptops. A Daily Mail article in 2009 reported media regulator Ofcom's findings that 1 in 5 children aged 5 to 7 used the internet without an adult in the room. This could leave them without guidance on how to interpret the vast amount of information online, how to sieve the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. And on a more serious note, it could allow children to engage in gaming without restraint, or even become victims of online sexual predators. Godchild, an organization committed to protecting children in this media age of today, reported last year that approximately 116,000 child pornography requests are made daily on the internet. And in 2010, a Time article reported that 10% of Korean students showed signs of gaming addiction, thought by psychiatrists to be one of the highest rates in the world. Such alarming statistics further behooves parents and caregivers to ensure that an internet connection does not become a channel of harm to their children. As such, a laptop and internet access are just starting points in helping children to learn and develop better. In relation to the different aspects of learning and development mentioned earlier, teachers, especially in developing countries, have to be properly trained in the usage of laptops in order to fully exploit software and the power of the internet in boosting academic learning and cognitive development in children. And machines and technology can never replace face-to-face interaction in order to help children learn interpersonal skills and social development. And finally, precisely because children tend to be impressionable, it is vital for caregivers to supervise their use of the internet in order to better ensure their healthy psychological development. And only then will the laptop and internet be potentially more effective in enhancing children's learning and development in the various aspects as mentioned above. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.